city, I'm electric in the moonlight. Every single step, leave a spark when I move right. Velvet in the voice, but the rhythm got a two-bite. Fast lane fever, hit the gas and it's a blue light. Metronome heartbeat, kicking in a ritual. Every single syllable symmetrical, is clinical. Chopping like a surgeon, I'm emerging with the visual. Digits in my digital, the pinnacle is literal. Running on fumes, but the groove don't fade. Liquor in the veins and the pain cascade. Words overlap like the waves on stage. Every line hit like a motherfucking tidal wave. Spin it to the sunrise, body don't break. Bass in the bloodstream, heart gon' shake. Lost in the rhythm, no time, no space. I don't chase life, life chase me, that's fate. Rapid fire addiction, I'm addicted to the cadence. Twisting up the language like I'm dancing with equations. Every single vowel got a spark in rotation. Flip it double time, still slick in translation. Velociraptor syllables, attacking with agility. Filling every pocket in the rhythm with artillery. Symphony of energy, the remedy is chemistry. Turn a little melody to weaponized infinity. Oh, chains can't hold my shine. Oh, lights can't blind my mind. Oh, stars gon' realign. Every word I drop, timeless, redefine. Sunrise, body don't break. Bass in the bloodstream, heart gon' shake. Lost in the rhythm, no time, no space. I don't chase life, life chase me, that's fate. That's fate.
Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show. It is a beautiful Monday, September the 8th, and folks, I hope you had a phenomenal weekend. First weekend of the NFL, so I hope your team won, and if it didn't, hey, the ref screwed you over, and there's always going to be next week. So I hope your teams won. I hope you did well on fantasy. If you decided to bet on it, I hope you made a bunch of tendies. But most importantly, I hope you're ready for another fun week in the world's largest casino, the overall stonk market, where this week we're setting up. We're setting up for the big show going down next week. So next week, September 17th, that's when we're going to find out about monetary policy. But this week is going to be the week that sets us up, really the data. We have a PPI report and a CPI report and some Michigan numbers, consumer sentiment and inflation. Those three pieces of information are going to be the final three pieces of information taken into account by the FOMC voting members and really the entire open market committee. Granted, we already have a lot of information. We already have the PCE report. We already have the jobs numbers from last week. So the past 2 weeks, we've gotten very influential data points for the monetary policy setup. So we're pretty confident. But because of those numbers, we're confident enough that we're going to get a 25 bips rate cut. But the question becomes a little bit more interesting if inflation comes in cool this upcoming week. So if we get a PPI report and a CPI report that are lower than expected, especially if they're dramatically lower than expected, all of a sudden the questions are going to be like, is there a chance of a 50 bips rate cut? So that's what's going to be going down this week. It's going to have a lot, as it always has over the past, at least not always, but over the past month at least. Monetary policy. What's Powell going to do? What are the voting members going to do? Of course, in between that, we have individual, I guess, other narratives to pay attention to, such as the trades, really the trade war, and are the reciprocal tariffs legal? Are they illegal? We have individual equity news. Congrats all of you who swung hood positions, HOOD, over the weekend, because as soon as the market closed on Friday, it was announced that it's being included in the S&P 500, most likely setting it up for a push to a new all-time high. Google's been really strong ever since they won the antitrust case. That stock just keeps ripping. We see Bitcoin turning around a little bit. So on top of the overall market, individual, I guess, tickers and cryptos, there are certain opportunities that we've been seeing playing out over the past week or so that are looking really good, and obviously I hope you guys got yours very much so. So my plan for the day is to kind of give you all a little bit more of a context for really how things concluded last week. Last week, if you guys missed it, we gapped open to a new all-time high on Friday and then violently sold off. And I want to get into what the sell-off actually was. And I know it's going to sound a little crazy, but why it kind of doesn't matter. Because really what was driving it down was zero DTE calls, and they were zero DTE on Friday, as in they're not even in play anymore. So not only did we see a bunch of call selling, but overall we just saw a bunch of closing of positions. So in my mind, there's a big difference between being legitimately bearish and then being lack of bullish. And I would very much argue, and I truly believe the data suggests this, that what we saw on Friday was a lot of profit taking. It was a lack of bullishness, but not straight up bearishness. And in my mind, and hey, maybe you agree, maybe you disagree, those are two very different things. So of course I'll be getting into why I believe that and the data. And since this is the start of a new week and everything, of course we'll just be getting into, hey, pay attention to this, here's the seasonality and everything in between. So that's the plan, at least between now and market open. And then when market open happens, that's when we're basically like Men in Black, where we forget all the stuff we should know. That's where like they're going to flash us and we're going to forget our discipline, our trading strategies. And we're going to just start firing it from the hip. And then when it inevitably goes wrong, we're going to sit there and be like, oh, I knew it. Just tomorrow I'll buy a couple more prop accounts. And I swear this time I'm going to be disciplined. So like it's going to be one of those things where we're like, already it was the weekend, prepped up, and we're all getting amped up going into the market open. And we're all like, all right, cool, dude. Cool, all right, discipline, follow the strategy. And then it just doesn't. And then we're going to forget about it. So we're just being honest with each other. Yeah, we're just being honest with each other. All right, if you haven't already, obviously pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video, I need to legally show you this disclosure because Public is a brokerage. So make sure you read that. Make sure you understand that when you engage with the market, there is risk of you potentially losing money. But most importantly, pay attention to the fact that I've been partnered up with Public for a very long time. And that's for a very good reason. I deeply believe in my heart of hearts, this is the best brokerage for you to be trading on because it's the only one that gives you rebates. If you buy a random call and sell said random call at the exact same price, you're not break even. You're actually going to be net ahead because of rebates. So download it. It is free to download, free to sign up. There are no commission fees, no per contract fees on stocks and ETFs. They have stock trading. There's no payment for order flow. They have crypto trading. They have bond trading. But obviously what I really like about them most is options trading. So I'm more on them in a little bit. But like I said, you might as well check it out, especially because they're doing a giant giveaway right now, a full-on Formula One kind of drive to survive experience out in Las Vegas. They are a sponsor of the Aston Martin team. So within the app, you just need to find 3 of those cars, and you and a friend might be the lucky winners to be able to, I guess, get the full VIP fan experience. And Piper is losing her mind right now. I guess she doesn't like ad reads this early in the morning, but hey, let's get through it. All right, here is where we are at in pre-market trading. Just everything will make a little bit more sense in a second. SPY slightly above where we closed on Friday. Like I said, Friday we opened up to a new all-time high, pushed for about 10 to 20 minutes, and then specifically at 9:52, someone took their finger and hit the enter button on a giant sell program that proceeded to sell for the next hour. And then by the time that was over, we rebounded a little bit, but not much. There was just one giant sell program, and it was crazy. Look what it did to this delta. The delta just absolutely plummeted, and pretty much from really into the end of the day, it was just a bunch of call selling, and I'll get into more details that. But what you really need to know is we held steady. We were at the top end of Captain Condor. We absolutely puked, and then when the program was over, we basically rebounded a little bit and got into the weekend. And right now we're seeing a bit of optimism. Same thing in the SPY and the Qs. Bitcoin actually in real time is popping right now. It's at 112. I'm liking that. I have some BITX calls. And then looking actually the same as the SPY and the Qs as you have the Russell IWM, same thing, actually pushed quite a bit more at first and then also violently gave it back. But right now in pre-market, we're actually getting right back to the upper end of where we were. So across the board, I would argue right now the bulls, they must have had their coffee earlier this morning because things are looking pretty nice. Stock futures tick higher to start the week as traders look ahead to key inflation data. So yes, I'll be getting into that, but just for a little bit of context, I want to remind you of the seasonality. I did this in the update video yesterday, and that has a little bit more detail. But for those of you who maybe didn't know I posted that video, or you didn't have time to watch it, or this, that, or the other thing, over the past 20 years worth of data, the first 2/3 of September is kind of bullish, and then the final 1/3 is clearly bearish. Over the past 5 years, the whole month is actually very bearish, and you're going to see over the past 5 years worth of data, so 1/4 of the time frame, bearish, 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 all 4 weeks in a row. Same thing on the past 3 years. Actually, we have about 6 weeks of bearishness in a row. So I do want to let you know, from a seasonality standpoint, this portion of the year is dominated by the bears. In fact, it's actually the weakest month of the entire year. Just because that is a truthful statement, that doesn't mean every single September is bearish. Obviously, sometimes you have counterexamples, you're going to have outliers, and this is one of those things where, like, yeah, if you look at it in aggregate, it generally pays to be a bear in September, but that doesn't mean it always pays to be a bear in September. And what's really going to be deciding it this time around is basically inflation. Another U.S. jobs markdown set stage for a Fed cut and BLS criticism. So on Friday, if you missed it, an hour before the market opened, we got the unemployment report, and it showed that the unemployment rate was exactly as expected, but the jobs were less than expected, which is exactly what we earlier in the week saw signaled by the ADP non-farm change, employment change. So basically, we're in this situation where our jobs are getting weaker. And this is important, and there's only two things you really, really have to remember here. When it comes to the Fed, they only care about two things. They don't care about what the president does or doesn't have to say. They don't care about the debt and the interest payments on the debt. That is not their mandate. If you think it should be their mandate, I guess take it up with them. But really, right now, their only mandate is price stability, aka inflation. We should be on a longer term target of 2%. That should be our inflation. And then the jobs market. They want a strong jobs market. So basically, the ultimate goal is 2% inflation and the strongest jobs market possible. For the past couple of years, we've been fighting very, very bad inflation. I mean, at one point, we spiked all the way up to 9%. Since then, we've come down, and technically we're not at our 2% target. We're at 3%. So we've made a lot of headway, but we're still technically not there. And recently, we've gotten commentary from Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Fed, that when they look at their balance of risks, all of a sudden, this effort to bring inflation down and down and down, they're starting to notice a couple foundational cracks in the jobs market. So instead of fighting inflation at the tune of the Fed fund rate of 4.25%, now the consideration is we'll still fight inflation, but we're not going to be so aggressive because we don't want to keep damaging the jobs market. So they're like, okay, we'll bring it down to 4, maybe 3.75. So what they've been needing recently is obviously they don't want inflation to go back up. They want it either to come down or at minimal just go constant, which recently we haven't been going down. We haven't been going up. We've just been kind of going flat. So that's one thing. But really what they needed is like this actual impetus of some weak numbers. But when I say that, that is where we get into a Goldilocks-esque situation. You want weak enough job numbers that the Fed feels some sort of quantitative reasoning of why they should cut rates. And if the market perceives it as like, okay, cool, they just put the numbers into the new model and we're going to get some rate cuts because that's just what the model suggests, and we're handling both inflation and the jobs market, well, great, awesome, market's going to love it, new all-time highs. However, all of a sudden, if the market perceives it as like, no, we're actually getting a rate cut because the jobs market is way worse than we've even anticipated, that's the situation in which the stock market actually could take a very serious hit. So it's kind of this interesting thing where you kind of want weak job numbers right now, especially if you're a person who wants the Fed rate cut, but you don't want them so weak that the market actually panics. So this is all important to the context of what played out last week with Joe's jobs numbers, which were definitely weak. And now that we have those, it's all going to set up really an interesting crescendo here for this week, where on Wednesday we get the producer price index, and then on Thursday we get the consumer price index. So if these come in at expectations or lower than expected, that's going to be phenomenally good. However, if they come in higher than expected and we have weak jobs numbers, that's where we have a problem. So very much this week, pay attention to the PPI report. I would argue that is important, but the CPI report is arguably even more important. So please just pay attention Thursday morning before the market opens. This is going to be massively, massively, massively important. Short-dated treasuries steady as traders bet on larger Fed cuts. We're going to give that a listen, but just so you know, Polymarket as of right now is saying there's an 87% chance of a 25 bips rate cut, and it's actually increasing, but now we have a 10% chance of a 50 bips rate cut. And according to Kohrs, a 87% chance of a 25 bips rate cut and a 12% chance of a 50 bips rate cut. So bets are starting to come in that, yeah, we're pretty confident of 25, as in we're going to get some sort of rate cut, but now the odds are actually increasing for that 50 bips rate cut, and for that to increase even more, that's when you would want lower than expected, cooler than expected inflation readings.
Is happening. So when we have the job report on Friday, surprising to the downside, we're talking about 29K on average the last 3 months or so. And just for context, this is like a tenth of what we had at the beginning of the year. So this is really meaningful slowdown here below our estimate of break even. And I think the really interesting and potentially subtle thing that is happening right now is that this creates enough macro justification for the Fed to go ahead with near-term rate cuts without its independence being brought into question. So in the near term, the administration and the government and the central bank are both kind of seeing near-term rate cuts as perhaps the best course of action, so somewhat in line. And what does this mean for markets? It means that some of the previous independence erosion premium being priced out of the markets could actually get priced back in. It's good for equities, but also good for bonds. You see long end now coming back down, perhaps in part reflecting rate cuts, but also in part reflecting some of those independence discussions that actually being priced out, some of those fears being priced out. But from here on, actually some really big questions still stand, because right now it may feel that the tension between monetary and fiscal is somewhat alleviated because of the weaker job number, but just for how long, right? Because they haven't disappeared, the tension. And also the question is the weaker growth. At which point does it stop? Does it get worse? Does it get much worse? And if it gets much worse, then that would offset the positive boost from Fed cut, and that actually could be bad for risk assets.
So wait, 25 or 50 basis point cut in September?
We think 25, but there is a risk of 50, which is something that markets are pricing in as well. Well, cautiously positive risk, but lots of things are happening at the same time.
I think that's a pretty good, obviously much more technical of an explanation, but she did somewhat of a good job of like kind of outlining of how it's just a giant balancing act. It's not necessarily a binary of like good or bad. It's like there are extremes of this situation. And yeah, we find out a little bit on Wednesday, but everyone's going to be paying attention specifically on Thursday. According to the Fed Watch tool, there's a 90% chance of a 25 bips rate cut, 10% chance of a 50 bips rate cut. But what I find interesting is if you go to the December FOMC meeting, the market is currently assuming that by then, there's actually a 2/3 chance of actually having 75 bips or potentially more. So the odds are really, really starting to increase for us to getting into either the mid or the low threes for the Fed fund rate by the end of this calendar year. So just wanted to quickly remind you of that. And also remember the other aspect of what's going on here has actually quite a bit to do with what might be prompting inflation, i.e. the trade war. Stock market's worst month historically may be rescued by the Fed. So yes, if you crunch all the data like some sort of nerd, you're going to realize that September is normally bust, but we might be bucking the trend, because if this inflation report comes in cool, look for a continuation to higher and higher and higher. But the other aspect of this, once again, the balancing act, is what's going on with the trade war. The EU's trade truce with the US is in danger of unraveling. European equipment manufacturers want changes to the July trade deal after being hit by the White House's expanding steel tariffs. So EU, not the most stoked there, but also on top of that, remember the drama related to are reciprocal tariffs even legal, which even at the earliest, to my understanding, we're not even going to find out if the Supreme Court's going to hear this till November. Treasury Secretary Bessent warns of massive refunds if the Supreme Court voids Trump tariffs. So that's going to be a whole nother piece of drama. I have a feeling that this narrative is going to be important, but it's going to stay quiet for a little bit, and then it's going to really pick up in November. So if you happen to have leaps or if you're playing for anything related to the end of this year, that's going to be something that you want in the back of your mind. A little bit of a side story. You guys know how I very much don't like that Pulte guy. He is a part of the Trump administration, but before that, he was just like, I don't know, just kind of a piece of shit on Twitter. He's the guy who's like leading the effort against Lisa Cook right now. And I'm no commentary on the Lisa Cook thing. You might agree with it. You might disagree with it. My opinion is pretty basic of let's let it play out in the court of law. And if she's found guilty, okay, cool. You lose your position. If she's found not guilty, cool, whatever. You keep your position. It's honestly that simple. But the guy who brought it, leading, I don't even know what his title is. Before that, if you don't know anything about him, he basically was using his granddad's money. Like his dad started Pulte Homes or something, and he did nothing. Like he literally has no achievements in his whole life. If you look at his resume, it was basically my grandfather's rich, my dad's rich, so like I got to be able to do nothing. And then he would leech onto certain communities such as AMC, GME, XRP, any community that had a following on Twitter. He would start tweeting about it and then just do giveaways. Like that was his entire thing. And he's just a fucking asshat. He's been caught lying many, many times. He offers no like intellectual backing or anything. He's just a very unremarkable, unimpressive human being. And you don't have to take my word for it at all. You could actually understand what Bessent had to say to him recently. This is one of the coolest things I've read in a while. A private dinner attended by dozens of administration officials and close advisors to President Donald Trump was temporarily marred by a dramatic clash between two of Trump's top economic officials, with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent at one point threatening to punch the top housing finance official, Bill Pulte, in the fucking face. I always knew I liked Bessent for some reason. But this one, damn. I'm just upset he's already taken, man, because I read that and I think I fell in love with the guy again. Gonna punch him in the fucking face. Like, that's so sick. Like, that is so absolutely awesome. So before this, I appreciated Mr. Bessent for being the voice of reason in the administration. As a trader, what he understands about currencies and interest rates is top notch. There's a reason why he crushed it on Wall Street. But then just core as a human, just telling Bill that he's going to punch him in the fucking face. I love it. I absolutely love it. So this really just drives home the fact that before I was like, am I a crazy person for not liking Pulte? And then realizing that the administration themselves don't even like this guy. He's such a fucking asshat, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I hope one of these days I would pay. Do you know how much money I would pay? You know how like Netflix is like doing all those boxing matches and stuff now? I would pay so much money to watch anyone, specifically Bessent, just completely pile drive Pulte. I think that would be awesome. I think it would be awesome. Anyway, moving on to some individual equity news. We're not really in earnings season, but there's a couple you might care about, such as Oracle, such as GameStop, such as Chewy, such as Kroger, such as Adobe. So I just want to put those out there in case you're playing those individual equities. Yes, they do have earnings. But what's more exciting in the land of individual equities is the big announcement after the market closed on Friday. AppLovin, and more importantly, Robinhood added to the S&P 500. The reason this is thought to be so bullish, or it is so bullish, is because there's many mom and pop shop outs there that basically all they do is their own version of the S&P 500. They look at what's in the list, and then for all their customers, they buy that. So when something gets put into it, that just naturally means that there has to be more buying because a lot of people are following the S&P 500 and they have to buy the underlying. So, excuse me. We don't really talk about AppLovin much, so it's going to be beneficial for that too. But I know a lot of you are paying attention to Robinhood, which is actually why it's looking very, very good. It's currently up 8.7%. Higher highs, higher lows, a little bit of a downtrend, taking out this trend right now. Popping up, yes, it does have a downside gap fill, so I want you to be mindful of that, chasing it out of the gate. But Right now, there's a lot of plays at 110. If you look at the options market, a lot of open interest right there. And then past that, I'd be watching this technical high of 116. So if you happen to snag that, I know some people in the Goonie Discord did. So massive congrats to you. I missed out on it. I had no idea that it was these are the two that are gonna get picked. But hey, if you got the money, you got the money. So congrats to you. If you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter. It's 100% free. It's always been free, always will be free. Comes to your email inbox every single Sunday. I break down what's going on in the market, cheat sheet for earnings, cheat sheet for the major macroeconomic events, and probably most useful is the seasonality of each individual trading day for the S&P 500. Over the past 27 years of data, the bulls have won this day 57% of the time. Here's a look at the hypothetical equity curve you would have if you bought it open, sold at close. So bullish, bullish, bullish. There was a 1 year where this particular day really got hit, but ever since then, it's been recovering pretty nicely. For the remainder of this week, Tuesday, it's neutral, big sell-off, but recently more of a pop. Wednesday, bullish. Thursday, neutral. Friday, leaning bullish. So just wanted to give you the individual days. And like I said, you could get this for free. You don't have to pay me anything for it. If you want to take advantage of it, take advantage of it. My mom will drop it in chat. But as we're getting ready for market open, let's go over a little bit of context here. Little bit of context. S&P 500. Very hard to not be bullish. I can understand being neutral, but to be bearish right now, that's tough when we just clocked a new all-time high. Obviously, this is with respect to swing trading. I'm not talking about day trading or scalp trading. I'm talking about swing trading where generally new highs beget new highs. So every single time we popped up and made new highs, guess what would have happened if you went long? You would have made more money. If you try to fade the new all-time high, well, you would have been blown out. So this time it is slowing down. The velocity at which we are going up is slowing down. And please be mindful of the fact that yes, we are in a seasonally bearish time, but also price structure is price structure. Higher highs, higher lows. I do want to remind you that the large players for the past 3 days in a row, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, net buyers, net buyers, net buyers. So this is basically a measure of the large players across the entire New York Stock Exchange. So something to consider. And I know maybe some of you are currently suffering from recency bias, but like, Matt, we gapped up on Friday and then we sold off. Well, I kind of want to get into what actually happened on Friday. If you look at it right here, you could just see it was a bunch of call selling. It was a lot of people locking in. Same thing on the Mag 7. This wasn't new bears entering a position. This was people taking their profits. Like right here, Mag 7, it was a bunch of call selling. It wasn't all this, here, another way just to drive the point home. Index ETF positioning, shout out to Spot Gamma. These are the biggest open interest change. Look at buy to close, sell to close. People were just closing positions. So what we saw on Friday, though, yeah, I admit it, it was dramatic. That was quite a bit of a sell-off for sure. But I want to be very, very clear here. This was not new bearishness. This was a lack of bullishness. This was people closing out their positions, buying to close, selling to close, 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 close. This was not like all of a sudden the bears have entered the arena and we're going down and down and down. And don't let anyone telling you that, yeah, no, this is now bearish. It's not. I admit that seasonality is bearish, but what we saw on Friday, this was a bunch of just profits being locked in. Buying to close, selling to close across the board. And then I just want you to know, even though that was happening in the options market, across the entire New York Stock Exchange, people were still net buyers. When I say people, I mean large players. So granted, I'm there with you. I have a bunch of calls. I have Tesla calls. I have BITX calls. I have IWM calls. I have SPX calls. I want it to go up. So maybe myself, I'm a little bit biased. Yeah, that's 100% possible. Maybe I am. I don't know. But I'm letting you know from a price structure standpoint, higher highs, higher lows. From a momentum standpoint, prices above all the major EMAs. And from an options flow standpoint, we have some decent opportunities to go higher, folks. Obviously, I've already marked these levels out right here. So feel free to screenshot these, do whatever you want. The transition zone is this white block. Obviously, we have the previous high, low, and close, as I always mark those out. But what I'm looking for, and I already put this in the Discord, my plan on the day is a push up to 6,500. If the market accepts that as equilibrium, maybe intraday, a slight rejection at 15. But my target is 30, and then my reach target is 550. It's that simple. Recapture 5,000 or 6,500. little bit of a short-term target, major target of the day, reach target of the day. That is my bull case. Of course, my bear case would be we get rejected here, go back to the close, and then get caught up in the transition zone, and then maybe get pushed to the bottom side of the transition zone. Is that possible? Yes, it is, and I'm going to give you both of the cases every single morning. I'm just letting you know my personal bias right now is cautiously bullish. I fully understand I'm fighting seasonality, but putting together this context of basically fingers crossed lower than expected inflation coming out really this week, Wednesday and Thursday, with Thursday being the important one, I think there's a chance that we keep grinding higher and higher and higher, especially if we have the opportunity to see, vol decay. Let me set this up, compare mode, statistical mode right here. If vol keeps getting crushed, we're going to see delta decay, and that just basically means all the puts that are in play, the market makers aren't going to have it as much, so they're going to buy back some of their shorts. So the fact that we're seeing a continuation in the downside of vol is actually going to help grind that market higher and higher and higher. So that's what I'm looking at. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. I have no idea. What's this? BWAH. Feels like you're yelling at me, and I appreciate that, R2D2. Thank you. Your name is R2D2 Speaks. That is awesome. All right. Well, let's get ready, folks. Let's get ready. Let's get ready. Dingity ding ding ding. The world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly, and if not, have fun. Ooh, golly, fuck. Tesla is going. I have a Tesla position. Remember, if you guys want this stuff in real time, all my trades are posted in real time. This is actually my best play at the moment. Currently up 41%, up about 5K on Tesla there. So I do not mind this thing popping at all. I did miss out on Hood. I'm putting up Hood because I know a lot of you probably ended up playing it. And honestly, a huge congrats to all of you who played it. I missed out on it, but yeah, we're breaking a lot of... Fuck, dude, this is... Yeah, so technical breakout, double technical breakout on Tesla. And that means the next technical level is about 368. From an options perspective, let's look at where the main gamma structure is at. Let's look at where all these players are really positioned. That's not what I wanted. I wanted Tesla over here. This is Tesla. Tesla. Whoa. Holy cow. Okay, interesting. I'm getting a lot of alerts. Are things just breaking out this morning? Netflix is actually breaking down, so a negative alert there on Netflix. But anyway, back to Tesla. So we close at 350, currently trading at what? 357. 357 puts us basically here. So there might be, this is going to be something difficult to get over. That's definitely some resistance for sure. They 355. So those are some long puts. Long calls. So 360 might be a bit of an issue. 370 might be a bit of an issue. But what's really catching my eye is some degenerate out there is long 400s, like long calls at the 400 strike. I love them. Whoever that is out there, the biggest current position on Tesla's option chain is long calls up to the 400 strike. What a baller. What an absolute baller this guy is. I love it. Absolutely love it. So these are some key levels. Yes, watch 360. Yes, watch 370. But the major one, even 3. Basically every $10 rung, but the one that really is jumping out to me is this 400. Like, it's the biggest one. That's crazy. And just because we're here talking about Hood, and like I said, I know some of you are trading it. Basically, it's around 110 now, isn't it? Isn't that exactly where it's at? 111. So look for it to hold this, but I'm actually not seeing... If it does hold it, maybe you're talking about 115. That's the next thing that really jumps out to me. The high vol point is 118. So if it can successfully hold this major gamma at 110, my next upside, it would be somewhere between 115, the next call, and then also the high vol point at 118. I'd be looking somewhere in that $3 range. May the bois be with you. Always shout out R2D2. So for those of you paying attention to Hood, you might care about that. All right, cool. How are we opening? A little bit of a sell-off. And dude, my cat's losing her mind. She just keeps like, I'm sweaty, fuzzy. watch 110. If it holds 110, you're talking 115, 118. That is exactly, and you could scale out, maybe scale out. I don't know how many contracts you have. I know you're long on this. Maybe you scale out some at 115 and then maybe push it at 16, 17, 18, something like that. But remember, you don't have to be all in, all out. I would look at 110 to hold. And if that holds, I would argue that you are golden. You're finding support, and then later that would be my target zone, 115 to 118. And as I get into it, I'd slowly but surely scale out and then move on to the next play. But congrats, man. You 100% deserve it. Great trade. You got the timing of that induction into the S&P 500, absolutely phenomenal. Crushed it. Oh, I forgot to show you guys. I have followed my rules. I did not trade yet today. Here's my accounts. I have my 20 Apex accounts at 150. They're all 156. So I'm 2/3 of the way to where I need to be to pass these. Remember, to pass these tests, you need to get them above 159. So I'm slowly but surely getting there. And then I also have 5 take profit accounts, and they're all up about 1.5. And I need to get about what is it? 3K, I think. So they're about halfway. So the 150Ks are 2/3 of the way. The 50Ks are halfway. So slowly but surely getting to exactly where I need to be. And then obviously, as everyone in the Discord is they know my current positions, but I kind of covered this in the update video. I have SPY calls, BITX calls, IWM calls, and SPX calls. Only one of those is currently net profitable. Just because I had them before the sell-off on Friday. But with today's bounce, they are definitely improving, to say the least. So I'm happy with that. Hood, you watch that 110 level hold, and we're talking 115, and we're not that far away. And then personally, if I had a position, I would scale out at 115, and then I would keep on runners for 118 is how I would handle it. But the exact scaling out mechanism would be depending on how much time I had left till expiration. If it's this Friday's expiration, I would obviously handle that differently than next Friday's versus the next Friday's, like that type of a thing. So in that particular equation, you definitely have to consider when your position goes bust. All right, let's reload this so we can see the flow thus far on the day. Here's what it looks like on the S&P 500 thus far out of the gate. Granted, we are only 6 minutes into the day. The delta is looking strong on the S&P 500. Same thing here on the Mag 7. Bottom left, top right, that is bullish. With respect to momentum on the S&P 500 futures contact, bullish, 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 and then the NASDAQ, bullish, 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 bullish. So we are in a situation where we've actually almost fully recovered to Friday's high. That's fucking nuts, dude. We're making a move. Oh, I do have the key levels on SPY and Qs for those of you who are curious. I wrote them down looking at the gamma structure. So for anyone trading the SPY and the Qs, we are currently at 49. You want to take out 650 and 652. These are the key levels. You know what I'll do? I'll just mark these out for right now. 650 and 652. Are the key gamma levels. So this particular range might be something you care about if you are trading SPY. So gamma structure, there's plays in this zone. That's for SPY. And then for the Qs, QQQQQQQ, you are watching 580 to 581. So this one is actually, we're at the start of it right now, but 580 to 581 is the interesting area where there's a lot of plays there. These are kind of equivalent, both of these zones. So the likelihood, I don't even necessarily want to ascribe a statistical chance. Okay, it's going to be difficult for us to break above those zones on both the SPY and the Qs just because of all the options positioning. But if we do, well, that's when we're then setting up for a push to a new all-time high. So, and right now we're battling it out at the ever lasting important level of 6,500. So right where the SPY's at right now, this might seem innocuous at 648 and some change, just below 649. But I can tell you that this level is actually massively important. Massively important right here. So let's actually dig in and see if it can hold. I would love for it to hold on the first one. Generally, when we come to such important levels, it takes an attempt or two to actually break out. And not only are we at 6,500, but we're at the high from Thursday's trading session as well at 6,502. So don't be so surprised if there is a little bit of profit taking right here. We're already starting to see a little bit. Yeah. But hopefully this is just like a momentary thing. And then we can actually, and we even got that breakout here from the pre-market trading. Interessante. Yeah, so I marked out the pre-market high and low on NQ for everyone who's trading on those sim to funded accounts. That's technically very strong, and I would love for it to get all the way back up. Where do we start selling? We're kind of above it right now, but 53, that high that we saw on Friday at 10 a.m. Remember, the sell-off started around 9:55-ish, 9:52-ish, whatever. So roughly where that sell-off started is exactly where we peaked this morning. So hopefully we could revisit that, and then from there talk about the actual high on Friday. So I'm looking at 23,850, 23,900. Very much want this pre/post-market high to hold here on NQ. With respect to the S&P 500, we ran right up to this key technical and psychological and open interest level, and right away took a little bit of a smack. And it's not so surprising because you're getting profit taking right there at, what is it, 939. And yeah, to be expected. This is why you always want to double check your levels and not chase it at these highs, because you already got clocked out, and it's most likely going to be kind of a little, like just a little fake out breakdown, like they're going to wick it. And I'm sure even if we looked at it on Bookmap, oh, actually, okay, so on the bottom here, this is people getting stopped out. And when it goes up, that means actually you have some of these shorts getting stopped out. Interesting. Yeah, so people have been using some of these upper levels as their risk, and they're getting stop. So when the stops are going to the north side, that's actually bullish. That means, there we go. So we'll keep our eye on this and see what in the world's going on. But yeah, you have some people attempting to sell here at 850. And then I would assume as we get closer, you're going to have a lot at 23,900. I wonder if this was the dip to be bought. I wonder if that was the dip to be bought. Probably. But it is also only 941. It is only 941. 941. Yeah, right at 940. This little reversal here. Shout out to Sean and Instigator in the Discord. They probably took this trade, this little reversal. You're in at 579. You're risking 578.60, 35-cent risk, and your target is the intraday high. Scale out a little bit there, and then you potentially have runners for the rest of the day. Tesla's taking a little bit of a hit. Not necessarily in love with that. Not necessarily in love with that.
Order submitted. Order filled.
One of my bots just fired off. It was really quick. Apparently didn't trade on one of my accounts for some stupid fucking reason. I don't know why. It just skipped this account, but hey, that's my life as the world's worst trader. So I made money on 19 of these 20 accounts, and then the take profit stuff didn't trade, but I'm just waiting for the robot to do the robot stuff. As a mischievous astromech droid, I think Pepe being used to sue hate groups for misappropriation is pretty funny, don't you? What? I think Pepe being used to sue hate groups? Pepe is being used to sue? I need a little bit of context of what in the world we are talking about. I need a little bit of context there, brother. Little bit of context. But hey, you seem like a swell guy, so I'm just going to agree with you. Maybe that's like really what I should be doing. All right, Mag 7 is still holding in this, even though things are getting a little bit more choppy now as we're getting closer to the turn of the hour. We have about 18 minutes. The overall delta flow is strong here.
Order submitted.
It is strong, and one of my bots just took a position. Yeah, on that push, that delta high push.
Order filled. Order filled. Order filled.
All right, not a bad deal. Okay, weird disparity. Some are up 125 and some are up 400. So that's interesting to say the least. Today marks 4 years working for you. No way. Everyone, give Chaos a little bit of a round of applause, putting up with my shit for 4 years. 4 years. He is the man behind the scenes. Whenever you guys see listen to a cool song, see cool art, anything like that, it is 100% Chaos. It is 0% chance of being me. So whenever you guys see something that's in the realm of art and you're like, wow, I can't believe Matt pulled that off, you're actually right to believe that I didn't pull it off, because I did it. It was all Chaos. I need a vacation. Dude, the world needs a vacation right here. 4 years of McDonald's salary. Oh, no. It's actually less than McDonald's salary. I've always told him that I'm not even going to pay him till 5 years in. That was our deal. Like, I was like, hey, just being around me is like pay enough. But he knows it. He knows that as soon as he gets to the 5-year mark, 1 more year, our agreement is that I'll pay him half of the minimum wage. That's just how I run this business. I run a very lean business, a very, very lean business. I have found that it is far easier to make money when I just don't pay my employees. It's easier. For those trading with Take Profit Trader, please remind your eval account has EOD drawdown. When you pass it, it's a live trading drawdown. That's a good thing to remember. I actually forgot about that. I thought they were both, but now that you say that, does ring a bell. It does ring a bell. It does. It does. What is going on here? All right, we're running into, looks like quite a few sellers up here at 50. Now we have a couple more coming in. This whole zone actually between 45 and 60, you definitely have some people attempting to sell. I suppose that they are fading the intraday high. I suppose.
Order submitted.
Looks like Icarus traded again.
Order filled.
Dude, Icarus is starting off the week strong. So the weakest account on the exact same trade is at 191, and the strongest account is at 467. 467. So hey, this is slippage. Sometimes it helps you, sometimes it hurts you, but we're definitely seeing a $300 difference on some of these. And just to be clear, I've only traded on the 150K accounts. The take profits right here, these 50K accounts have not traded quite yet. I hope you at least throw him food and lotion into the basement for Chaos. If he's working well, I'll give him some food and lotion, but it's not, I mean, call me old fashioned, but he's not going to deserve that every single day, you know? Like, he really has to put in the work.
Order submitted.
He has to put in the work.
Order submitted.
Looks like the take profits actually just fired on that as well. That little EMA crossover. Which, what time is it? A 9:47 EMA crossover. Not necessarily in love with that trade. Not necessarily in love with it. Oh, we're going to see what in the world is going on. SPY taking a little bit of a hit here. Uh-oh, the Qs just took a hit and my stuff just went long. That can't be good. Hey, that's probably not good. Hey, that's most likely not beneficial for me. Let's see if we can recover at all, or is this going to just be the double top smack? Ooh, Tesla's taking a bit of a hit. All right, Mag 7 turning a little bit, starting at 943, accelerating as we speak. Looking at the S&P, ooh, that's not good. The SPY, ooh, and then a pop right there. Okay, so some calls getting sold starting at 945. Some calls getting sold starting at 945. Interesting.
Target filled.
Target filled. Oh, okay. The 50Ks did take one trade right there. $90 locked in on those. And then still live on this account. Still live on the 150. So these ones got locked in right here, just under 100 a pop. Well, that one got 70 a pop, but looks like we are going up, 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 uppity, up, up, up. Icarus, crushing it today.
Order filled.
Hell yeah, dude. Icarus. So the lowest account is at 302. The best account is at 577 on the 150Ks. And then for the take profits, those have only traded once today. And they're 90, 90, 90, 70. You know what? These ones, I'm thinking I might turn it off. Like, because... Oh, do I want to turn it off? Okay, I think I might turn off one of the systems and only let the other system ride. I think that might be the play. So for the 150K accounts, I'm going to turn off a portion of Icarus. And basically, it's only going to trade one more time today, I guess. I'm a little bit angry about this account, the 135, just because it's clearly getting disconnected from the others. I'll figure that out later. So I'm going to allow these ones to trade one more time today. That's it. And it's going to be a different type of a trade. It probably won't even trade until like, I don't know, 10:30. So I'll let that trade go through and I'll kind of just pay attention. I'll let these ones still cook a little bit more. I'll let these ones cook a little bit more. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. When you start off this strong on a Monday, you know, like, don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth, I think is the weird saying, but we keep coming up to this resistance level. It's a gamma resistance level on the Qs right here. It's from 580 up to 581 is the resistance. So it's that buck. And right now, overall, you could argue the SPY is range bound while the Qs are slowly but surely grinding up. The Mag 7, it's kind of flattened out, but overall, the trend, the delta trend is higher. Specifically, it is longer duration call buying. Buying to open, buying to close, we'll figure that out later. But what I can tell you is it is longer duration call buying. S&P 500... looking messy. Actually, no clear trend there. We popped, we dropped, we popped, we dropped, we popped, we dropped. So kind of just at this point waiting for price and delta. Something just happened. NQ just broke out. What the fuck just happened? Okay, we smashed. Wow. Wait, did we just take out the... What high did we just take out? Okay, we took out the high of the start of the sell-off on Friday, which now means we just need to take out Friday's actual high. So the Qs are leading us higher and higher. And what is the... NVIDIA is up 2%. Oh, for those of you in Robinhood, this is the first layer of resistance. In my opinion, it wouldn't be a bad idea to scale out some of your calls if you had them now. Scale out some because then you could sit pretty and wait for that secondary target of 118 rather than like risking it all, because there is a non-0% chance that there's profit taking here because it is a major open interest level. So we are past that, and this is a part where I would scale out maybe a third to a half of the position so I could be calmer waiting for my secondary target once again of 118. But to be clear on that, it's easy for me to say because I have no position. So I could sit here like calm as a cucumber because I just have no skin in the game on that one. So Hood is still rocking it. It's up 13%. It's definitely the biggest gainer on the watch list. Tesla's given some back. I don't like that. Nvidia's pushing. That's helpful for the Qs. Meta popped is flat. Netflix popped is flat. Avago popped is flat. Microsoft is actually picking up. Apple, nothing. Palantir is picking up as well. Where was Google? Is Google still having a day? Google is having a day still. So a lot of these big tech names, kind of excluding Apple, are all pretty much green. And even that, Apple's not even that red. But right now, the bell of the bar is clearly Robinhood, ticker symbol HOOD, because it was announced that it's getting put into the S&P 500 index after the market closed on Friday. So Hood looking good, like I said, and hey, do what you want. I'm just letting you know how I would handle the situation. I would be locking in half of my calls right here, and I'd be swinging my other half to 118. And the reason I came up with that is because the big play is 110. The next one is 115. We just hit it there. And then the high vol point is 118. So I'd be using this $3 range to scale out. But whatever. If you want to do it, do it. If you don't. It's all up to you. It's all up to you. Someone said Tesla's coming back. I very much hope it's coming back. Had a nice technical breakout this morning thus far. A bit of a doji candle, not much of a body. But I would say a push and a close above 358 is a big win. And then above 368 is a bigger win, just from a technical perspective. We have this high from late June, and then we also have this high from late May. Those are the two levels I'm watching. But overall, higher highs, higher lows. We have positive momentum. And then we could take a look. We did have some profit taking for sure. Yeah, look at all those calls getting sold. So hopefully this trend can turn around. But out of the gate, the delta on specifically Tesla has been getting really messed up. But overall, the Mag 7 is long and strong. The S&P 500 just hit a new delta high. Interesting. We are just going now. The SPY's waking up. The Qs are now in this battle zone. There's a lot of open interest at 580 and 581. And then if we can get above it, that would lead us to the high from Friday, which would obviously be a big technical breakout. So we have some important option levels right here. And then obviously just a big technical level to consider from Friday. So watch for chop and fake outs and some maybe not such smooth trading in this zone. Of course, I would love it for there to be one giant green bar and we break and rip. I would love for that to happen. But obviously, I guess, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Super easy. Pepe was used as a hate symbol. The creator, Matt Fury, set up a Pepe coin to sue the hate groups for misusing his frog. Too funny. Oh, that's funny. That is actually pretty funny. All right, SPY is actually showing some life. We actually might have just got the first succession of a higher high and a higher low. So we started off somewhat strong and then clearly a downtrend, lower highs, lower lows. And now in here, this is a higher low relative to what we saw at 947. So we have some higher lows. We just took out the last two highs. So the Qs have been bullish and the SPY is going from neutral bearish to clearly now bullish. Would love to see that push. And remember, the equivalent of this buck zone right here between 580 and 581 for the SPY is between 650 and 652. So it's a bit higher and it's actually a bit wider as well. But remember, as this battle is happening, this might seem like a random level on the SPY. It is nothing but a random level. It's 6,500. Arguably, this level right here on the S&P 500 is more important than the other two like zones that I was showing you. This is the battle. If the S&P 500 can push above and hold above this, the bulls are in control, absolutely in control. To show you what's going on with the big guys, thus far today, they are slight net buyers. So, okay, not much movement. In terms of, if you are playing NQ right now, clear target at 23905. 23905. Once again, 23905. Someone is trying to jump 442 contracts just above 23,900. So that you might want to front run those guys if you're a day trader, if you're a scalp trader. If we do break up there, don't be the person buying when there's that many people trying to sell. You're going to want to show at least some patience there. But as of this moment, huge amount of sell side orders, sell side liquidity at 23,000, and it's been there all day. Starting at 920, that trade was placed. That's a shitload. So basically, that's the interesting test that I want to see. I want to see the push up there and see how the world reacts. But you're seeing a lot of people kind of get smacked. They're getting stopped out. Interesting.
Order submitted.
What traded? Oh, it's for the little guys. The little accounts just traded. Oh, it traded on NQ. It's long on NQ, but I'm not necessarily loving the potential rejection on SPX. Not loving the potential rejection here. Mag 7 is still long and strong. SPY just got that flow alert. Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Not loving that it fired perfectly at, well, I guess it was technically seemingly a minute and a half later. Feels like it was front running that one a little bit. Not loving those vibes. Not loving those vibes. This kind of reminds me of what I was telling you about on Thursday or Friday. Is I do want to implement logic for Icarus to be not trading at the extreme of the day. Don't go long at the high. Don't go short at the low. And that one's easy because you just say, is it the extreme? Don't trade. But in reality, that one, it didn't take the long at the extreme, but it was close enough. So I almost want to do it as if it's like, don't take it if it's within like an ATR, like a 1 minute ATR of the high. Like I think it needs even more of a buffer to not trade at those extremes because I have no issue, like whatever, if it's a strong day being bullish, I just don't like that, like right there, because like you're risking exactly what just happened to the account is it basically, let me go to the 1 minute so you can see it a bit better. It basically did it right here at 9:58 and then surprise, surprise, the 10 a.m. reversal. Like I don't mind it going long. It's just I don't want it that close to the extreme. It's just it might work a lot, but you only need like one misstep for it to not work. So I did code in the logic for it to not go long at the extreme, as if the bar we're setting to buy, if that is the high of the day, it doesn't go. But I don't have the logic of the buffer zone. And I guess I need to almost like back test what is actually ideal for that because I guess it's kind of like guesswork on my side of like, should it be one ATR? Should it be two ATRs? Should the ATR be based on the 500 ticks? Should it be based on the 1 minute? I suppose there's various things to consider. Various things to consider. Yeah, the SPY just taking a clear rejection right off that level. So as much as it might seem random in SPY, you're like, what's special about 649? Well, what's special about it is that it's massively important in SPX. And remember, SPX is a far larger, far more traded, far more liquid product than SPY. SPY is very popular. It's traded a lot. It's very, very liquid. But on a relative basis, SPX is the biggest. It is the most liquid. Like we're talking about the major thing that like all financial institutions in the world trade is SPX. So like, yes, ES is large, it's liquid. SPY is large, it's liquid. VU is large, it's liquid. They are all relative to the rest of the world, very large, very liquid. But there is a king among them, and the king among them is like clearly SPX. It is very evidently SPX. Uh-oh. All right, we are coming to the bottom of the day's range. Let's see if buyers step in here, or is it going to push to the close value? Or is it going to push to the closing value? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing today? Where's this going? Our buyer's going to step in. I'm on the 1 minute on SPX. We're at the 50 EMA. That doesn't count the overnight session, though, because it just trades from 9:30 to 4. That's not actually technically true. There is some extended hours, but that depends on your broker. I'm just wondering if we actually can bounce out of this. I'm wondering if we can bounce out of this. I would love for NQ to recapture 851. In the short term, it seems like an important technical level, but then it's also some of the key levels we saw from Friday. Should I put in a pending order for up there? Yeah, so what I'm looking at is well, I guess technically, I said 50, 51. I guess I meant 53. If I go to the 30-minute chart, it's where we started to sell off on Friday. So that's why I'm watching this level. I would love a recapture, a little bit of a pullback here. Overall, higher highs, higher lows. So even though this sell-off was vast from 76 down to 26, we sold off 50 points. Overall, it's still bullish. I mean, you could see the trend. things would be questionable if we snap it, the 948 low. And then it would be turning bearish if the next high is actually lower. So this is kind of like your warning shot, and then the confirmation would be on the definition of the next high. But for right now, we do have higher highs and higher lows, and I would actually feel fine about the bull still being in control if this can once again push 53, 54. How are we looking on SPX? Having a tough time. It's having a tough time over here, team. It's having a tough time. 95. But I... All right. Where did I get 520? So 670. All right. All right. I'm trying to get $1.50 on these ones trading on my Vanquish account. I got to fill at 520, trying to dump them at 670. I have 10, so that should be a gain of 1,500 if I'm able to hit that. If I'm able to hit that. What are we doing? Hopefully this is, I'm looking to catch this bottom right here. Obviously my risk is just this recent low, the 10 a.m. low. Hoping at least a pop back up to 97 would make me feel better about my life. Mag 7 overall up, but a little bit of a downtrend here. S&P 500 big pop followed by a big drop. Maybe we have some bottoming here. Big maybe. The Qs are trying to lead us higher. The tech sector is looking good. It is the SPY that is currently, I mean, look at this major difference. The SPY is all over the map, while the Mag 7, yeah, it's a little down now, but overall pretty strong. Here's a look at the NASDAQ. Overall pretty decently strong. It is the SPY that's causing us some issues. How is the Tesla's taking a bit of a hit? What about the Russell? Okay, the Russell is clearly taking a hit. So small cap must be a little bit of a rotation from small cap into tech, if I just had to guess. At the end of the day, you'd be able to be a bit more confident about those types of call outs when you can analyze the market internals. But for right now, just kind of guessing when you see these, when tech's doing one thing and small cap's doing the complete opposite, it gives you a certain vibe. It gives you a certain vibe. Hood's still looking good. Like I said, I would have already scaled out a little bit and then held on. Oh, wait, did this hit? No, not yet. Up 550 unrealized. I'm in at 520. I'm trying to, my order to sell is at 670. I'm trying to get $1.50, which might be a bit of a bummer for me because I should be able to get this fill as long as it goes up to 97. They are SPX calls. I think I did the 6,500s. Is that what I did? Yeah, 6,500s, 0 DT, long calls. I have 10, currently up 400, looking for 1,500. And in reality, what I'm actually looking for is for this to push back up to 97. And we're at 95. I'm hoping on this first push to 97, it's just enough for me to get my fill. Hopefully, 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 hopefully. Come on. Come on. I just need that delta to keep popping. NASDAQ's looking good. Mag 7 still trending down a little bit. I could be a bit more optimistic. What do we have going on with the... Okay, so these players have not left. 23,905. I guess if it can take out 880... I'm still looking at this test of 905 on
Order
NQ.
filled.
All right, so that got me something. What was that trade? Oh, it went long too. It bought another one. It scaled out of those two at break even, and now it has a runner, which I'm not necessarily sure I love. Not necessarily sure I love that play. Where did I say those people were trying to sell? All right, so some people are trying to sell at 75 and 80. So are they just selling at the intraday high? Yeah, they are. All right, I'll join them.
Order submitted.
I'll join them. Happily, why not? So not only is it a technical level that we're seeing there, but I could literally in real time tell you that people are trying to dump it in that zone. Yes, granted, if we break through 880, there's a real shot of seeing 905 where there's a ton of sell side liquidity. But I could always re-enter for that on some sort of dip, especially because this was a bit of a sketchy situation to begin with. So I'm attempting to get out of that last contract right where this selling kind of has started. Unfortunately, we're not getting that nice follow through to it. But that's my reasoning for putting this right here. It is the intraday technical level, and I just see a lot of sell side liquidity. So I'm hoping that I can front run it a little bit and get my fill and move on with my life. Move on to the next trade. Did this ever get a fill? It did not. I'm green, but I didn't get a fill on that options play quite yet. We're getting close. We're about halfway there. Like I said, I'm in at 520. I have 10, and I'm trying to dump it at 670. I was hoping that when it hit 97, that would be good enough, but apparently it was not. And now I'm watching for this trend line. Okay, equal highs, equal lows. We're just kind of bouncing up potentially to the top of this range, which would be around 99. I mean, folks, this is a pretty easy play. Either we're breaking out of 6,500 or we're getting rejected. I don't think it's a smart move to try to predict that and be like, no, it has to break, or no, we're going to get rejected. I would say the smart move is literally just waiting and seeing what happens and then playing it accordingly and seeing if you could take advantage of a low risk, high reward opportunity. I would say that makes the most sense to me, but hey, whatever you think is appropriate. But for me, I'd be waiting for either this breakout and confirmation, trend line breakout of the key level, ride it, ideally finding a recent low that you could base it off of, or we actually crack the recent lows and you get to ride it back down to 81, 82, like maybe somewhere in this 2 to 3 point region, which was the closing value and the start of today's transition zone. So bullish option is breakout, follow through, targeting 15, targeting 30. Bearish option is breakdown of these lows, targeting 80, somewhere between 82 and 80. So that's how I'd view it. For me, I think the overall context more so favors the bulls. But remember with that, hey, man, congrats. You have a 50-50 opportunity being bullish or bearish. So it's much more of just your risk management than anything else. If you can manage your risk, you're going to be fine. And if you can't manage your risk, that's when you're going to get screwed. That's when you're going to get screwed. I do like how the Qs are staying in this gamma zone, though. They really are trying to stay above 580, so I like that. Hood's giving a little bit back, not the most surprising, being we're at that key gamma level. What else do we have going on today? Bitcoin's bouncing. We're at 112. I like that. Hood, Tesla, Nvidia's holding. Meta's giving some back. Netflix might be making some sort of move. Broadcom's looking good. Broadcom's looking great. Up 5%. Second biggest gainer on my watch list on the day. Looking good. Broadcom. Palantir's looking good. Up 2.2%. Looking good, Broadcom. Oh, brother. We have some profit taking. ATR is starting to expand. Oh, I want the Qs to hold this low that we saw at 10 a.m. That would just be a nice psychological win for me, because then we could just easily keep with the higher highs and higher lows. It'd be a nice psychological win. But a boy can dream. What time is it? How are we looking over here? 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute. Neutral, bullish, 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 bullish. Okay, tech is clearly way more bullish. All right, let's set up some alerts for some recent highs and lows on the 4-hour. Yeah. So tech is lethargic. Or no. Tech is the strong sector today, while the overall market, the S&P 500, is a bit more lethargic. A bit more. Oh, I just really want to hold this. All right. When it comes to the world of tech and the Qs, in my mind, becomes questionable if we break below 579.40 and don't quickly bounce. And then it's evidently bullish if we break above 580.40. I suppose you could do the same thing on the SPY. Track this recent high. Track this recent low, I suppose. This break on the SPY, if that happens, that would be most likely setting up a test of the closing value from Friday. So kind of that green to red move. But let's wait. Let's watch the flow. Mag 7 has not really found its footing after a nice pump. It turned right at 956. So we are, I guess, seeing a 10 a.m. reversal, which is a wee bit of a bummer. The SPY, no clear trend. The NASDAQ, up, down. Didn't make a new high, now trending down. So losing steam. I guess the market has a case of the Mondays. A case of the Mondays. All right, well, while we're waiting for this to, the SPY has been nothing but range bound. The Qs have been bullish, but now we're kind of wondering, okay, is this actually a lower high? And we're about to crack this low. So the Q starting to look questionable as the SPY is just ping-ponging from the upper end of its range to the lower end of its range. It's just having the worst time getting above 6,500. It also hasn't broken this trend line. Maybe for the second time today catches itself at the 50 EMA. We did that previously at 1001, 1002. So maybe some buyer step in here, just kind of throwing out potential of like, hey, it happened once, maybe it's going to happen again. But you'd be more confident about that play on this break of 97. This break of 97. So basically the recent high, the 1008 high, if you're watching the SPY. In terms of equities, a lot of them have gone flat now, especially with the overall market going flat. So pay attention to that. Pay attention. Took my hood gains, 47% account buff. Hell yeah, Fuzzy. Congrats to you. Congrats. Consolidation, womp womp. Actually, most days are, oddly enough, most days, if you do like a pure stat breakdown, from 9:30 to 4, most of that time is actually consolidation. Which is why going long 0DTE premium calls or puts is actually uniquely difficult. Just because not only are you fighting the nature of time, but also just the historic performance of the market. Generally, we do nothing. Fun fact for all of you. Most of the bullish movement in the market actually comes from market close to market open the next day, not from market open to market close. It's from market close to market open. If you had a strategy that bought at 9:30 and sold at 4, it would actually severely underperform a strategy that buys at 4 p.m. and sells at 9:30. A while ago, I did some tests on that after reading about it. I was like, no way, that's crazy. And then even my own personal test results, like of just studying historic data, it very much actually suggests that that's right. It is, if you had two systems side by side, one buys at 9:30 and sells at 4, the other one buys at 4 p.m., sells at 9:30 the next day, the second one wouldn't just win, it wins dramatically. Probably because of earnings. Earnings would have something to do with it, but it's not like most days we have big earnings. Like, think about an entire trading calendar. I would argue that does play an aspect to it, but just to call it because of earnings, no. No, it wouldn't be exclusively an earnings thing. I'm waiting. Is this like a little, are we going to find support here, or are we going to crack? Are we going to double bottom here, or are we going to crack? We might have a bit of a trend shift. We'll find out. Doing the opposite of Matt, LOL. I'm up money today. If you did the opposite of me today, you'd actually be down quite a bit. which, hey, I'll admit it, it's rare. But if you did the opposite of me today, you picked the wrong day. Granted, most days you could pick and you would be fine, but this is one of those rare cases. ES options, but they're not as liquid overnight. They're still very, very liquid. Whenever you're talking about anything that relates to the overall market, it's still from the vantage point of a retail trader. You don't have liquidity problems to worry about. Like there's enough liquidity when you're talking about the S&P 500 at any point in the day as a retail trader. That, like, what you bring up of like there's less liquidity, I mean, that's technically accurate, but not to the point that your account size is going to have issues with it, like, whatsoever. What did I seek to trade? That would be a very long explanation. It wasn't like a singular thing. I have found that there's a happy medium of the things you want to take into consideration when you're trading. And that specific happy medium, like, you don't want to just take one thing. Like, for example, if you're looking at just RSI, you're not going to be profitable. If you're looking at just MACD, you're not going to be profitable. If you just take in one indicator, one filter, not good. I have found that most success comes from putting a few of those together. But on the other extreme, I have found that sometimes people try to put together too much and they're like, well, hang on, here's the 18 things I consider. I found that there's like a nice sweet point of like taking in like 3 to 5 different things. And like, okay, like we're all a little different. So I'm not like saying that this is gospel or anything. But in general, I would say you want to take in about anywhere from 3 to 5 ideally uncorrelated, or at least like not hyper correlated things, because at that point you're measuring the same thing. So 3 to 5. I mean, I think sometimes you could do it as simply as just 3. Yeah, be like, hey, these are the 3 things I pay attention to. When they all align, I do A, B, C. And when they don't, I don't do anything. Sometimes I don't get fills. Well, if you want to fill, you just traverse the spread. I think there's a lot of people who don't realize how markets work. Is like a lot of the times these brokerages, they'll show you the last price, but that doesn't mean you could get there because the bid and the ask can move. If you're trying to buy and you want to like a fill, you can get an automatic fill by hitting the ask. If you want to sell, you could get an automatic fill by hitting the bid. It's like all it is the bid, ask, and I guess the midpoint. But as an individual retail trader, you are not having liquidity issues trading ES. You're just simply not. Just go look at the bid and the ask, and you could easily get a fill. And in reality, you're probably not even going to move the midpoint when you do it, because just in the grand scheme of things, we're small players. We're like little guppy fish. But it's not to the point that ES has such liquidity issues that like you're like, it just doesn't exist at our size. Simply does not exist unless you're like some secret billionaire trading like multi-million-dollar positions in the dead of the night when no one's paying attention. Matt, are you going to tune into the Trump speech? I didn't even know he was having a speech, and I guess I will. I'm not necessarily opposed to it, but I would let you know that a lot of the times when he has these scheduled speeches, they tend to be like starting a half hour to an hour past when they're actually scheduled. And a lot of the times they end up like kind of not doing squat. Oh, brother, 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 oh, brother. Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. What time is Trump's speech? I have no idea. I didn't even, like I said, I didn't know he was talking today, but he does talk most days. Hang on, my producer's sending it in. He's talking about the remarks of the Museum of the Bible. I don't think that has anything to do with the market. When's it scheduled for? Here, let's yeah, the Religious Liberty Commission. That has nothing to do with the stock market, so no. We don't need a giant religious fight in here, you know? You know? Little fake out here? little fake out. We're gonna get a little bit of a pop. We do have a lower high and a lower low. We do have a lower high and a lower low, at least on this particular time frame. Remember, when you're talking about trend, it is hyper specific to the time frame you are looking at. What you can see and is accurate on the 1 minute could be wildly different than the 10-minute versus the daily versus the weekly. So when you're talking about trends, just understand it is hyper time frame specific.
Order submitted.
Hello? Oh, this is that final trade, the final Icarus trade. It is targeting 841. I think it's going for $600. Come on, Icarus. Bring us home, brother. Come on, Icarus. So it looks like it went long at 25, and it is targeting 41. It looks like it's sold. Overall, we are bullish on a larger time frame. I would have preferred it got in at 21, but hey, 25 isn't that bad a slippage. It's not that bad. It's not that bad of this potential reversal. Come on, Icarus. Come on, buddy. Like I said, 41 is the target. So that's about 15 points, 30 points. Yeah, I should make about $600, which should bring all of these accounts to over 1,000 on the day. If I'm fortunate enough for this to hit, which I'd feel way better about if it could take out this recent high of 31. Speaking of that, not really much going on here, honestly. I want it above, what did I say, 31? I'd feel better. There are some people trying to sell at 31. There's some people trying to sell at 38. But not much. Not as much as we saw up at 905. Come on, Leroy Jenkins. Come on, Leroy Jenkins. What's he talking about now? Me? Or Trump? Or Leroy? Come on, Leroy Jenkins. Realize P&L. Why is this one so far off? Account 135 just has a completely different vibe than the other ones. Uh-oh. Well, that doesn't make me feel so good. That one doesn't make me feel so good necessarily. All right, I'm hoping the SPY can get this trend line breakout. And really, I'm just looking for this retest of 6,500. Nothing really too special to it beyond that of either we break or we bust. Either we break or we bust. Yeah, I'd feel better if we could take out 97. That feels like it would naturally set up a test of 6,500. Just because when you're within 3 points, that's pretty darn close. But beyond that, it's more of you're taking out this last pivot high. Lower highs, lower lows as of now. So for us to potentially be switching trend back to being bullish, you have to take out this high at 10.08. I still have these calls, which I'm down, unfortunately, on. I'm down 750, but hey, maybe I'll get a lucky turnaround.
Order filled.
Oh, fuck, what? Hell yeah, dude. Icarus. Can I get a shout out from my boy, Icky? He's giving us that icky sticky. Dude, I'm fucking losing my mind. Nothing's real anymore. I no longer have tethers to reality. But yeah, Icarus giving us that icky sticky. So that was nice. Those are shut down for the rest of the day. So the only thing I'm like really considering is these accounts. But these all worked. That's sick. 1.1K. Well, this one made 905. All these other ones made 1,100. So I have 20 accounts. So that's 20K locked in. So I'm done with these. I'm going to turn them off. In fact, the only other position that I really have to consider is this one right here. That is currently down, which is a bit of a bummer. Targeting the intraday high. How are the? Oh, I'm back to being positive on these. Nice. I'm going for 1.5K here, so I'm almost halfway. We did get this. Okay, so we took out the high, so that's good news. We did breach this high, so we might have a trend reversal because as of right now, we have a lower low and a higher high, so a potential trend switch from bearish to bullish on the 1 minute. I'm looking for this test of 6,500. This one should be locking in soon. Come on, 50 more bucks. 50 more bucks. Come on. It's right where my cursor is. 1250. We were getting there for a second. You guys saw the 1400. I was $100 away. That's a bummer. Come on, where's the follow through? This one's for America. This was supposed to be for America. Come on, 12. There we go. Order filled. Dingity ding ding ding. You saw it all in real time there, Tonto. 1,500 locked in. I know myself, there's no point in overstaying my welcome, so I'm going to shut that down. So 1,500 made there. Obviously 20 grand there. I'm still riding. This is my like last rider position, basically. Part of me is actually wondering, do we have a shot of actually hitting that 905 level? What was it, 905? So if I front run this at 904, are they still there? I just want to see if that huge sell side liquidity is up there still. Because if so, I'll just target that. It is. They are there. At 905. I mean, if we could take out 75 and 80 here, that feels like a pretty easy path up to 905. Here, I will front run it by 2 points. I'll put it in at 903. But I also want to put my stop in somewhere, just so basically either be break even on the day or ride it all the way up. But that could be a nice return for me. I mean, that's 20 points. That's 600 bucks, dude. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that return. We'll see if it can hit. Not only is that a key technical level and psychological level at 900, but really I'm focusing on this right here. Just the fact that like a lot of people are trying to sell right there at 905, 904. So I'm front running it by a little bit, just in case it gets rejected a little bit early. But yeah, 90, yeah, exactly 905, which is why I put mine at 903. Maybe it hits, maybe it doesn't. Leroy Jenkins, GME Cooking. GME has earnings. I just want to remind everyone of. It does have earnings. Mag 7, a little bit of a pop, not as much as price. S&P 500 getting a big pop right now. Yeah, look at all those calls being bought. Puts are flat, calls being bought, maybe to open, maybe to close. I have no idea, but they are being bought. Okay, that's a beautiful technical reversal right there. Beautiful technical reversal right there. Beauty. It's a beaut. All right, so the Qs, they both got their trend line breakout. The Qs are back in their like important gamma zone right here between 80 and 81, while the SPY is seemingly making a move to its gamma zone between 50 and 52. But what's most important is, do we break and hold 6,500? This is what everyone should be watching if you want to be a good trader. What you should be watching is, will this break or not? Mag 7's picking up a little bit. The SPY is very much picking up. We went from a delta low at 10:20 up to a delta high 10 minutes later at 10:30. Look at how quickly that can change. Tesla's not doing what I want it to. Something just happened. Oh, we just pushed. So ES just made a new high. SPX has not yet, only has a little bit more to go, but ES just pushed its high. So my next stop there, if we keep going, is 20 points higher, from 6,510 to 6,530. Once again, for the ES contract, which is equivalent to 20 points on SPX. So this would be from 500 to 520. And then on SPY, that would be equivalent to $2. So from 649 to 651, basically. Just for like a measured move, like recent technical level thing. But remember, this is not a given. All I could tell you is we made a fresh low and then quickly shot right back up to this key level. And at this point, remember, as I always tell you, if you're trying to predict, if you're the person right here saying, no, this has to break out, no, this has to get rejected, you are attempting to predict, and you are miles behind where you should be as a consistent, profitable trader. What you should do is be reactive. Don't be predictive. If you see a higher low, maybe you play it. Your risk can be whatever the low is. Maybe you get the breakout and follow through. If you're wrong, you cut it quickly. If you want to reject it, okay, maybe you went short here and your risk is well defined. You're not going to be able to predict in this game. You're going to be right half the time. You're going to be wrong half the time. If you are attempting to predict breakouts and breakdowns and fake out breakouts and fake down breakdowns, I'm telling you, I've done extensive statistical studies of the market. It is a 50-50 game. It is normally distributed. The way you can be profitable in this game is by keeping your losses small and let your winners ride. But most importantly, it's focusing on cutting your positions when you should be cutting them with respect to risk. The biggest issue that I've seen time and time again is people just, you get too married to a position. And I agree with this. Like, it happens to me, folks. Like, I'm not saying that I'm somehow above this. I've seen it after engaging with hundreds of thousands of retail traders, my own trading career. Your biggest issue is going to be when your risk is hit and you don't cut it. That is going to be your biggest issue. Your second biggest issue is going to be when you have a winning trade, getting out too early. So if you can master those two things, like basically saying, nope, I'm wrong, sorry, and you get out and like and be like, hey, it happens. Then your third one or your second one is going to be, don't get caught up of like, you see green and you're like, oh, this is the first time I've seen green in a while. I just got to take it. I got to take it. No, generally, if you have a good trade, it's like, it's good trade for a reason. So ride it. And actually, maybe this is before those two, whether your risk or your reward is oversizing. So your first probably issue is probably oversizing. Your second one, and they're all kind of tied together. So I shouldn't say them in terms of priority. It's just the three things you need to really consider is, are you sized appropriately? Are you respecting your risk? And are you sticking to your trading plan when you have a winning trade? If you can get those three things like dialed in, locked in day over day, congratulations. That's how you become a winning trader. Congratulations. That is how you become a profitable trader. Mag 7 a little flat now. NASDAQ is actually picking up nicely. SPY is also picking up nicely with respect to Delta. So it's coming down to this. Is this the higher low right here that we just made at 1033? Like, basically, are we doing a cup and handle? Are we doing an inverse shoulder, head, shoulder thing? This is the talk of the town. This is the watch. We went up. We had some profit taking, slight pullback. If you want to be bullish, you could go long, and guess what? You have well-defined risk right here. If you are wrong, you took a paper cut. If you're right, you could ride this all the way to potentially 15 to 30. You only have to be right on these a little bit to be net profitable. Oh, speaking of that, do I want to add another NQ contract? Because then I could get out even earlier. Do I want to let this one trade run? Do we think this is actually going to break? What's the flow looking like? NASDAQ, Mag 7. Okay, and maybe to like further really get into this conversation of why you can't predict this, because inherently think about what you're trying to predict. Whether we break out or we break down, that's dependent on traders that are about to trade. You don't know what they're going to do. You don't know if they're about to buy a bunch of 0DT calls. You don't know if they're about to buy a bunch of ES. You don't know if they're about to lock in their calls. You don't know if it's a fat finger mistake. You don't know if bots are going to go crazy. You don't know if Trump is going to say something on Truth Social. There's too many unknowns. Think about it. In the world of, okay, here's a really good example. In the world of variables that you have to take in to make a proper model-based decision, there's far less variables in the world of, let's say, even football, whether you're doing your money lines, your prop bets, this, that, the other thing. There's way, way less inputs into that equation than there is the market. And yet they can't even properly predict that all the time. Yeah, a lot of the times they get pretty good, but like also books and whatever fantasy, they mess it up quite a bit because of there are clear things that are unknown. So if they can't accurately predict fantasy football or the odds in these books for sports, what makes you think that you can like actually model and like to any accuracy really predict the stock market, when there's literally infinite more variables going on than in something like the conclusion of a football game. Like it's a very, very difficult thing to do, to the point that it's actually like mathematically like just bullshit noise. So assume your trade's going to be wrong. That is probably the healthiest mindset that I could pitch to any of you. When you enter a trade, assume you are wrong. This is going to train you to say, okay, yep, this is my risk, and as soon as it hits, I'm going to get the hell out. Speaking of that.
Order filled. Order submitted.
That's going to train you to, like, the second it goes wrong, be like, hey, I know it's going to be wrong anyway, and you get out. That's it. Every single trade, get in there, just be like, yeah, I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong. Oh, brother. 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 Oh, what kind of math can I do today? What kind of math can I do? Interesting. Okay. Those are the levels I want them at. Those are the levels I want them at. Still, that is a lot of size right here. That player's still there at 23,905. Someone's trying to dump 442 NQ contracts, which is a lot. There is some sell side liquidity at 90, and then you have some also at 900 flat. So 890, 900 flat, and then the most is at 905, and you have some buyers coming in at 850, just below this recent low. Wow. I'm trying to dump it at 94. I should probably actually do it to 89 though, based on this. Yeah, because these guys are at level what? They're at 90. Okay, so I'm front running this very first one, and then also this large one up here. So I'm front running this one to the tune of a point, and then this one to the tune of 2 points. And we'll see how it goes. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. If it turns, I'll get out. I'm looking for 500 to hold on SPX. 5 minutes bullish, 10 minutes bullish, 30 minute, 4 hour. That's all bullish. Bullish, 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 bullish. The trend is bullish. And we'll see. We'll see, we'll see. I would love if Tesla, like, didn't look like shit right now. I mean, it's still technically green, but the intraday action, Jesus. Hood, $1 higher. Remember, I'm watching 118. 115 is where I would have scaled out at the first one, and I'd be riding my other ones up to 118, especially if I have a short trade duration, like depending on when your stuff expires. Other than that, Meta's trending down, Tesla's trending down, Netflix just got hit, Microsoft maybe breaking out, Google was looking good, got hit, maybe bouncing here, Apple, Bitcoin's trending, Hood's trending, and Bitcoin's trending. That's where we're going. If you want to trade with someone else's money, don't forget Take Profit Trader. My mod will put it in chat right now, but 40% off and never pay an activation fee. Don't forget to use that code Goonie. Those are the accounts that I'm trading on right here that I'm up 300 per account. I have a locked-in loss of 205, but I currently have some runners that are doing well. Actually, I'm about to lock one in, but take profit, take profit, take profit, take profit. I myself got some just because this is a really good deal, in my opinion. 40% off and never pay an activation fee. Just use that code Goonie on Take Profit Trader. As of right now, this is the best deal. So if you're wanting to buy an account today, and this particular world, it changes a lot of who's running the best deal and who isn't. So you kind of have to check in per day. But right now, I would argue TPT, Take Profit Trader, is the best deal. So if you're looking for an account, 40% off, never pay an activation fee, use that code Goonie. Goonie. Come on, brother. Come on, sister. I should probably put a stop in at 69. LOL. Oh, come on. Just hit it. Just hit it. Leroy Jenkins. Leroy Jenkins. Come on. Come on. Cat Moores. Oh, this was the one that we listened to this morning. Come on. I'm trying to... Oh, they're not even really there. Oh, they are a little. They have sell orders at 91. I'm trying to front run a little bit. My order's at 89. I'm paying attention to this guy up here. Come on. Let the kids play. Ran into some issues at 86, but we still have higher lows. Higher lows equal highs. I want that snap of 86, quick fill at 89. I can put the stop to break even on the other one, and if it gets hit, it gets hit. Come on. Come on. There we go. Come on. Some people are trying to dump it at 85. It should be getting a fill pretty soon. How many times are we going to get rejected at 86? How many times? Damn.
Woke up late, hit the bell, markets open straight to hell. Leverage high, nerves are fried, but I'm in too deep.
Shit.
To bail. Shots are bleeding, red tsunami, bought the
Took out this little guy here, and then that was enough to get it smacked.
Now I'm hanging by a thread. I was chasing tickets like they owe me rent. Now the brokers knocking saying pay.
Well, we took out that low. We took out that low. Fake out.
Looks like a fucking mess. I was one bad trade from a margin call meltdown.
We are holding 6,500. I like that. Bitcoin's looking good. Spy's going. How does this not? Come on, give me my fill. Let the kids play. Let them play. Is it going to turn a point from me? You guys have seen worse. A point? Come on, dude. No fucking way. A point? Hits 88. My fill's been at 89 for fucking ever. Make a lesser man crack. It'd make a lesser man crack. Come on, brother. Come on, brother. Come on, brother. We just need to sacrifice someone to the market gods for this to happen. You fucker. All right, which one next? We need something to really pump it up. This is on me to pick the right song. Pump and dumps, when tendies turn to dust. No, that's the opposite of what we need. Bullwhip. Don't sell me short. Stock market rock anthem. This might be what we need. This might be what powers the market to the next level.
I watch your values
902 is that high.
like shares in a fading day. Trading hours bleed to black.
Holding 53.
I can't take back. Fingers tapping, waiting screens. Footsteps chasing broken dreams. You drain my equity slow. Left me holding what I don't know. Don't let me liquidate, don't mark me to the floor. Pull me from the margins, edge before I'm worth no more. Hold me through the void, I'll nuts before the markets.
SPX is waking up here. Tesla is fucking not. Come on, dude. Oh, what's the song that's gonna get this higher? I'm running out of ideas, you know? I cannot believe how close that got. A point. That's disgusting. But that's the market. Sometimes it's a bitch.
Green turn red. Profits lost and thin air spread.
87.
No stop loss.
Someone's hitting it.
My heart just crashes, tearing us apart. No bids left on this trade. No
Someone just dumped.
shade. Just echoes in the ticker tape of memories I can't escape. Don't sell me short.
Remember, if this holds, intermediate target 515, major target of the day 530 on SPX. The trade of the day was very obviously at 1024 or at 1036, depending on how you want to play it. They would technically both be live still. Dude, how unfortunate. How unfortunate. Is this band called Panic at the Market? That's hilarious. No, that was from the... Which one was that one? I don't know. It's all on Tendies and Tunes. If you're interested in this music, we give it away for free. It's in the description of the videos, or you could go to the Tendies and Tunes YouTube page. What's this one? The Mats.
If we're gonna blow it up, let's light the wick. You said we'd moon, I said this chart looks sick. If you wanna vent about the dip we took, spent all your green on a shitcoin crook. And now someone else is pumping bags. The same old stock you swore would never lag. The ticker still haunts my screen at night. It's sad your bull runs never look quite right. Now I always said I'd sell too late, but some regrets just compound great. And this'll sting a loss I can't redress, 'cause the next 20 candles might just eat
IWM catching a bid. If you're in the Discord, Piper just fired, so just can give you some directional ideas. Spy's looking good up here. The Qs can push us. They're right in the middle of that gamma area. I'm very much looking for the Spy to get to the start of its gamma area at 650 here. Look at that recovery in IWM. Almost going green. Qs are looking for that breakout. Bitcoin appears to be looking for that breakout as well. Hood's looking phenomenal. Not that far from an all-time high. I'd very much, I mean, do what you want, but I think 118 is a good reach target. Palantir's trying to save itself there. What other ones do we have? What other ones do we have? Daddy Pal. Velvet Kohrs. Funk the Fed. Oh. Here we go. If this doesn't do it, what will, folks? If this doesn't give me my money, what will?
I straddle that wrist, making moan with the margin. Options got curves like a waist when she arches. Popping that candle like corks from a bottle.
Go, go, go,
I'm
go.
long in the squeeze, she's short on the throttle. Pulled up to the bell, silk suit, no briefcase. My trade hit harder than a slap to the priest's face. Portfolio wet like she just saw a ghost.
Spy Delta popping. Mag 7 actually going the other way. NASDAQ flat. Bullish, 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 bullish. Bullish, 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 bullish.
Whisper to Ticker, her knees hit the floor. Ticker was love and the stock was yours. Too slick to be yours.
Tradeify. No more minimum days for payouts.
Like my trades, my touch got a missionary mission. Bell bottom butter with a limit or the glare. I made your own pound, pull out his hair. Broke the Fed, broke a spine in a Lambo. Said she ain't in the stocks till she saw my handle. I just swing, I just laugh from the sauna. That was breakfast. Pour me that Moet Mama. Ladies, I don't hedge my love. I leverage it. Don't need no margin call, cause I already own it. Now come closer and feel the liquidity of my intentions.
Come on. Picking up Spy. Look at all that call buying. Next target's up here, 515. Looking for 500 to hold, obviously.
That's velvet, baby.
Velvet Kohrs. All right. I guess that wasn't enough to get us our fill. We actually might be putting in shoulder, head, shoulder. Might have a lower high here. All right. We need something then to save us. We need something to save us. I need to find the perfect one. The perfect song to save the market. What is this one? Some of these are so fucking wild. Kitatronic, trade mode engaged. This is from Piper the DJ. IWM, robot buying, systematic.
I used to wake before the sun, wake when it's gone. My body's still here, my mind is long since gone.
SPY is still very strong. Oh, interesting. Someone capped us. There's a call credit spread in play now. Oh. Iron Condor. 18,000. 530 by 440. Yeah. 530. Definitely watch that. Already had it marked out though. Right here, 530. They're watching the high from Friday. That's a new play as of market open. 18,000 contracts. Tesla's getting hit. What the fuck, Tesla?
Mom said, pick a lane. I keep chasing things I'll never hold. All of the life I learned to mean more than what I planned.
Oh, wait. I want to pause this for a second. We got more of the Besant Pulte drama. Remember, Pulte is that fuckwit that's part of the administration that I don't know how anyone on this planet likes them. But it looks like we have even more information. But amid the cocktail hour din, Besant lashed out at Pulte in an expletive-laden diatribe. The Treasury Secretary had heard from several people that the Federal Housing Agency director had been bad-mouthing him to Trump. A person close to him said he wasn't about to engage in chit-chat as if nothing was amiss. Why the fuck are you talking to the president about me? Fuck you. I'm going to punch you in your fucking face. Why the fuck are you talking to me, the president? Fuck you. Reported told I'm going to punch you in your fucking face. The conversation continued in the same vein. We could go outside. I'm going to fucking beat your ass until the two men were finally separated. There's loads more glorious detail in the story. It's either me or him, Besant said to Malik. You tell me who's getting the fuck out of here. Or he added, we could go outside. To do what? Asked Pulte. To talk? No, I'm going to fucking beat your ass. This guy, dude, that's awesome. That's hilarious. That's beyond hilarious. Pulte is such a lying scumbag. I truly don't know how he still, how has he not been fired? I like this from, I like this from Besant, but most 14-year-old girls could kick the shit out of Bill Pulte. Look at him. This guy is such a fucking twat. He's just lying and lying and lying all the time. And he has a fucking room temperature IQ. Look at this guy. What a fucking twat. I hope he's fired before the end of the year. Me personally. Didn't Besant punch Elon too? There was a report about that. I don't know if it actually happened. That one seemed to have less eyewitnesses than this particular story. So it could have happened, but I don't know if we're 100% sure. Isn't Besant old? He's old. He's not that old to kick Pulte's ass, but as that one tweet pointed out, a 12-year-old or 14-year-old girl could kick the shit out of Bill Pulte. He's he's a trust fund baby. He's a fucking loser trust fund baby. A loser trust fund baby. DLL is now dynamic. What does that mean? Once you reach 6% increase to max drawdown, on example, DLO moves from, oh, interesting, from 3.7 to 6 on 159. Interesting. That's kind of cool. I like that. Tradeify making some moves. Remember, Tradeify, you could get that discount too as well with the same coupon code as always. Oh, this was all on Politico. I'd follow Scott Besant into war. Dude, that's the Treasury Secretary you need. That is the Treasury Secretary you need. Just so everyone knows, when people post things like this, it's literally useless. Avago, repeat sweeper. And the issue with it is because you don't know if it's to open or to close, and those obviously have giant implications. So, I mean, you could maybe look at the order size, and if the order size is bigger than the open interest, you could assume with some solid accuracy that it's to open. But when people post things like this, you don't know if these calls are being bought to open or bought to close. Are they creating a new bullish position, or are they locking in their profits on a previously existing bullish position? So when people post this shit, just understand that it's fucking useless. You have to do a deeper dive against the change in open interest, basically, at the end of the day. Midday, if it's bigger than the open interest in terms of pure size, yeah, you could probably safely assume it's opening. But beyond that, there's a lot of people, these engagement bros, like these option positions engagement bros, trying to make it seem like it's something special, when in reality it's not. When in reality it's not. I'm still in this position. I feel like I've been in this forever now. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. At this point, now I'm pissed off enough, I might just go higher. Fuck it. Fuck you. Don't give me my money. I'm going to take more. Didn't Besant punch Elon? If so, he needs anger management. Why? Because you think every person in this world who's punched two people needs anger management? Hear me out on this. Maybe he's surrounded by retards. I'm just saying. There are certain people in this world who deserve to get punched. They deserve it. So maybe it's not a him problem. Maybe he's just the deliverer of karma, in a sense. Oh, geez. All right. This is slowed down. I'm going to go hang out in the Discord. Before I let you guys go, if you guys could do me a huge favor, if you haven't already, sign up for Public. You're going to love it. It's the only brokerage I know of that gives you a rebate every single time you trade an options contract. Whether you buy or you sell, whether it's a call or a put, you can start earning your rebates today. Make sure you use that link pinned to the top of chat because you're going to start out at a higher rebate tier. And if you do it quickly enough, you could throw your hat into the arena for potentially getting selected for you and a friend for a F1 Drive to Survive VIP experience at the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Check it out, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. And remember, if you're doing Take Profit Trader or the new Tradeify thing, make sure to use that code GOONIE, GOONIE, to take advantage of those fat discounts. You've seen my stuff today, just to be transparent about what's going on. I'm live in one position that's roughly break even. It's dancing around break even, not break even. All the other ones, I've shut this down on the day. There's no more trades here. 1.1K on each account, except for this random ass account that only made 900 for some weird reason. But hey, it is what it is. So locked in about 20,000 there. And then these ones are live positions that I guess if you guys want, if you care about it, you'll see it tomorrow. I mean, check the account numbers. I'm not trying to hide anything from you right now. Locked in loss of 205. Currently up 50-ish bucks, 85. I don't know. It's dynamic. You see where I'm trying to get out. 97, 903. I'm not going to move those. If they get hit, they get hit. That's awesome. If they don't get hit, they don't get hit. So I could keep you apprised of the situation either tomorrow when the market opens and we can look at these accounts, or I could post it on Twitter. It's kind of up to you. But right now things are clearly slowing down. And one of my biggest missteps as a trader is when I end up taking trades when there's nothing to do. So I think sometimes it's better for me to go fish for shrimp on RuneScape, my RuneScape account, or go to the gym. Dude, none of you guys asked me about it, and none of you congratulated me, which is a little fucked up, but I hit a new PR stair-stepping. A new PR stair-stepping, which I know many people don't use the stair-stepper because sometimes it's basically pitched like it's for grandmas, but you guys can't see it, can you? Well, you'll have to take my word for it. 230 flights in 41 minutes, dude. I think I was put on this planet to do one thing, and it wasn't to be a coder, it wasn't to be a mathematician, it wasn't to be a statistician, it wasn't to work in Wall Street, it wasn't to be a streamer, it wasn't to do prop trading, it wasn't to run a Discord, it wasn't I think the only thing that I'm meant to do in this world is be a stair stepper. Stair stepper is gay. What's your bench press PR? 240. But I couldn't do that now. That was how many years ago was that at this point? Holy shit. That might have been 10 years ago. It was either 240 or 245 I benched back when I was lifting a lot. But now I've just been called. I've been called to the land of stair stepping. Matt's bun's gonna be looking right. Jesus. 225 how many times? At that point I could probably do 8 to 10 of 225 when I was benching maybe 6 to 8. I don't know. I couldn't do it now. If I attempted that now, I would be dead. The bar would have been crushing my throat if I attempted to do that now. Same thing with like my max squat, my max deadlift. If I put those numbers on a bar right now, my spine would break out of my body. Like it would no longer be attached to my body like cavern. My spine would be one place and the rest of my body would be bleeding out in another place. Those were the days. Those were the days. But what I couldn't do then that I could do now is go on the stair stepper for a fucking marathon, an absolute marathon. So just because none of you guys congratulated me, so I'm just going to congratulate myself in front of all of you because, hey, fuck it. Why not? Anyway, best of luck today. Bulls are in control. Bullish price structure, higher highs and higher lows. Bullish options flow for the most part. Bullish momentum. We're above all the major EMAs on the 10, the 5, the 10, the 30, the 4 hour. The big news of the week is Thursday, the CPI report, but on Wednesday we do have a PPI report. If SPX, which is the major thing you should be watching more so than SPY. If you want to trade SPY, have at it. But in terms of key levels, it's easier to identify the key levels on SPX because it is a larger, more liquid product that most of Wall Street trades rather than SPY. So we are currently holding 6,500. That's a win. Close above this is a big feather in the cap for the bulls. Intraday, if you're trading this, I have a little bit of a profit target at 6,515, but the real reach target of the day is 6,530. 6,530. And that would be the case if we can get above and hold above 6,515, but there's a lot more gamma at 6,530. And if that, or excuse me, 6,530, if we hit that, given how things are currently set up from the options market, from really price action, and also just like the events for the week, I don't know if I'd really be reaching for past that today. I'd be very happy to like just lock in my profits at 6,530 as my reach target and then just move on with my life. But once again, I'm not your mom. I'm not in control of your money. It is all up to you. I'm just sharing some thoughts and opinions with the crew. That's what I have you. Best of luck. I appreciate the good vibes. I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you have a fucking phenomenal Monday. We'll catch you in an update video later on today, and then we'll be streaming once again tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. bright and early. I hope to see you there. Don't forget to show public a little bit of love. Create your account there. And if you want to take profit account or a Tradeify account, don't forget to use that code Goonie. Thank you. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.